Get addicted to English, not just learn it. Welcome back to Echo English. Close your eyes for a moment and imagine two people. The first person studies English for 1 hour every day. They memorize grammar rules, complete exercises, and learn long vocabulary lists. After 2 years, they still hesitate to speak. Every sentence feels like an exam. The second person is different. They don't study perfectly. They listen to English while walking, watch videos out of curiosity, repeat interesting sentences, think in English, and enjoy discovering new words. They make many mistakes, but they never stop using the language. After 2 years, who do you think speaks more naturally? Most people would choose the second person. Why? Because the first person was trying to learn English while the second person had slowly become addicted to English. The word addicted usually has a negative meaning, but there are positive addictions too. Some people become addicted to reading, some become addicted to exercise, some become addicted to creating art. What if you could become addicted to English? The problem is that many learners treat English like medicine. They take a small dose every day because they know they should, but deep inside they don't enjoy it. Now think about your favorite movie or song. Did anyone force you to watch it 10 times? Probably not. You watched it because you loved it. Your brain remembered every sentence and every lyric because your emotions were involved. Your brain learns fastest when it enjoys the experience. This is why children learn languages so quickly. They are not worried about grammar tests, they are curious. Every new word feels like a discovery, every conversation is a game. They laugh at mistakes and keep speaking anyway. As adults, we often lose that curiosity. We become afraid of sounding foolish. We worry that someone will laugh at our pronunciation. We compare ourselves with fluent speakers and conclude that we are not talented enough. But fluency is rarely about talent. It is mostly about exposure, repetition, and consistency. Think about how you learnt your first language. Nobody gave you a grammar book when you were 2 years old. You learnt by listening, observing, repeating, and making thousands of mistakes. The same process still works today. Your brain has not forgotten how to learn a language, it has only forgotten how to enjoy learning one. Imagine English as a beautiful garden. Many learners visit it only during study time. They spend 20 minutes there and then leave for the rest of the day. But fluent learners build a small house inside that garden. They live there. They hear English, read English, think in English, laugh in English, and slowly begin to dream in English. The difference is not intelligence, the difference is immersion. Starting today, stop asking how many grammar rules did I study. Instead, ask yourself how many moments did I spend living with English today. That single question can change your entire journey because the goal is not to study English for a few minutes. The goal is to make English a natural part of your life, and when that happens, learning no longer feels like hard work. It becomes something you genuinely look forward to every single day. Rewire your brain to love English. Have you ever noticed how easy it is to spend hours watching videos, scrolling through social media, or listening to your favorite songs? You don't need anyone to remind you, you don't need motivation. Your brain wants to do it because it expects enjoyment. Now ask yourself an important question. Why doesn't your brain feel the same way about English? The answer is simple. Your brain doesn't hate English, it hates the way you have been learning it. For many learners, English means textbooks, difficult grammar, fear of making mistakes, and the pressure to become fluent quickly. Every study session feels like hard work, so the brain begins to avoid it. But your brain is always searching for pleasure, curiosity, and meaning. If you connect English with those feelings, something amazing begins to happen. Learning becomes natural. Imagine a child playing with building blocks. The child isn't trying to improve problem solving skills, the child is simply having fun. Yet, while playing, the brain is learning thousands of things without realizing it. That is exactly how you should approach English. Don't start every day by opening a grammar book. Start with something that makes you smile. Listen to a short story, watch an inspiring speech, read a simple article about your favorite sport, movie, or hobby. If you love cooking, watch cooking videos in English. If you enjoy travel, watch travel vlogs. If you love history, listen to history podcasts. When English becomes connected to your interests, your brain stops asking, "Do I have to study?" Instead, it starts asking, "What can I discover today?" This small change is powerful. Another secret is repetition. Many learners avoid repeating the same content because they think it is boring, but repetition is how the brain builds strong memories. Think about your favorite song. You didn't listen to it only once. You heard it again and again until you could sing every word without effort. Treat English the same way. Listen to the same story several times. Watch the same short video until you understand almost every sentence. Read the same page again after a few days. Each repetition makes your understanding deeper and your confidence stronger. There is another habit that can transform your English. Start talking to yourself. At first, it may feel strange, but remember, you are giving your brain the practice it needs. When you wake up, say, "Today is going to be a productive day." While making tea, say, "The water is boiling." When you walk outside, describe what you see. "I can see children playing. The sky is cloudy. There are many people on the road." These simple sentences teach your brain to think directly in English instead of translating every word from your native language. Don't worry if your sentences are not perfect. Perfection is not the goal, progress is. Every fluent speaker was once a beginner who made countless mistakes. The only difference is that they kept going. Remember this, your brain is like a garden. Every English word you hear is a seed. Every sentence you speak is a drop of water. Every day you practice is sunlight. You may not see the flowers tomorrow, but if you continue watering the garden, one day it will bloom beautifully. One morning you will realize something surprising. You understood a sentence without translating it. You replied automatically. You recognized a new word because you had heard it before. Those small moments are proof that your brain is changing. Fluency doesn't arrive all at once, it arrives quietly, one sentence at a time, one conversation at a time, one habit at a time. So don't ask yourself, "How fast am I learning English?" Instead, ask, "Am I making English a joyful part of my everyday life?" Because when your brain begins to enjoy English, it no longer needs to be forced. It begins to come back for more, and that is the beginning of a positive addiction. Create an English environment that changes you. Imagine planting two identical trees. The first tree is planted in dry soil. It receives very little water and almost no sunlight. Every day it struggles just to survive. The second tree is planted in rich soil. It gets fresh water, sunlight, and clean air every day. Slowly it grows taller, stronger, and healthier. Now ask yourself, which tree had the better chance to grow? The answer is obvious. The same principle applies to learning English. Many people say, "I don't have anyone to speak English with. I live in a village. My friends don't know English. My family speaks only my native language." These challenges are real, but they don't have to stop you. Because today your environment is no longer limited to the place where you live. Your environment is also your phone. Every time you unlock your phone, your brain enters a new world. That world can either distract you or teach you. Imagine spending 2 hours every day watching random videos that you forget within minutes. Now imagine spending those same 2 hours listening to English stories, interviews, documentaries, and conversations. The amount of time is the same, but the result after 1 year will be completely different. Your phone can become your English teacher if you use it wisely. Start by changing small things. Change your phone language to English if you are comfortable doing so. Read simple news headlines in English. Follow creators who speak clearly. Listen to short podcasts while walking, cooking, or traveling. Even if you understand only 30% today, keep listening. Your brain learns through repeated exposure. At first, everything sounds fast. Then you begin recognizing familiar words. Soon you understand complete sentences. Finally, you understand ideas instead of individual words. That is how listening skills grow. But don't stop there. Create tiny English moments throughout your day. When you open your refrigerator, name the foods in English. When you wear clothes, describe them. When you clean your room, speak your actions aloud. I am folding my clothes. I am opening the window. I am washing the dishes. These simple activities may seem unimportant, but remember, fluency is built from thousands of ordinary moments, not one extraordinary lesson. Now, let's talk about something many learners ignore: silence. Most people spend hours every day talking to themselves in their native language. What should I cook? I forgot my keys. I need to finish my work. What if you slowly changed those thoughts into English? Not all at once, just one sentence today, two tomorrow, five next week. Your brain will slowly stop translating. It will begin thinking directly in English. That is one of the biggest turning points in becoming fluent. There is another powerful habit. Read the same English story several times. The first time you will understand a little, the second time much more, the third time you will notice expressions you completely missed before, the fourth time you will start predicting the next sentence. This isn't wasting time, this is strengthening your brain's language network. Remember, athletes don't become champions by practicing something new every day. They master the basics through repetition. Language works the same way. Every English sentence you hear leaves a small mark on your brain. One mark seems invisible. 1,000 marks create fluency. Never underestimate the power of small daily actions. 5 minutes here, 10 minutes there, a short conversation with yourself, a story before bed, an English song while traveling. These tiny habits may not seem important today, but after 1 year, they can completely change your confidence. One day, someone will ask, how did you become so comfortable with English? And your answer will be simple. I didn't wait for the perfect classroom. I built my own English world. That is the real secret. You don't need to live in an English speaking country. You need to create an English speaking environment wherever you are. And once your environment changes, your habits change, your thinking changes, your confidence changes, and finally your life changes. The psychology of never giving up. Have you ever started learning English with great excitement? You bought a new notebook, you downloaded English learning apps, you promised yourself, this time I will study every day. For a few days, everything went well. You felt motivated, you learned new words, watched English videos, and imagined yourself speaking confidently. But then something changed. Life became busy, you missed one day, then another. Soon, your notebook gathered dust, the app stayed unopened, and the dream of speaking English quietly faded into the background. If this has happened to you, you are not alone. The problem is not that you are lazy, the problem is that you depended on motivation instead of identity. Motivation is like the weather. Some days it is bright and sunny, other days it is cloudy and stormy. If your learning depends on motivation, your progress will always rise and fall, but identity is different. Think about a musician. They don't play only when they feel inspired. They practice because they see themselves as a musician. A runner doesn't run only when they are excited. They run because they believe I am a runner. Now ask yourself, do you say I am trying to learn English? Or do you say I am an English learner who uses English every day? Those two sentences sound similar, but they shape your action in completely different ways. Your brain always tries to behave in a way that matches your identity. If you believe English is too difficult for me, your brain looks for proof that you are right. If you believe every day I become a better English speaker, your brain starts looking for opportunities to practice. This is why your self talk matters. Every morning, replace negative thoughts with powerful ones. Instead of saying, I can't speak English, say, I am learning to speak English confidently. Instead of saying, my pronunciation is terrible, say, my pronunciation improves every time I practice. These aren't empty positive statements, they remind your brain of the direction you are choosing. Now, let's talk about one of the biggest enemies of progress: comparison. Many learners compare their first chapter with someone else's 100th chapter. They watch fluent speakers and think, I will never speak like that. But what they don't see is the years of practice behind that confidence. Every fluent speaker once struggled to introduce themselves. Every confident speaker once searched for simple words. Every expert was once a beginner. So stop competing with others, compete with the person you were yesterday. Did you learn one new word today? Did you understand one more sentence? Did you speak for one extra minute? If the answer is yes, you are already moving forward. Progress is rarely dramatic, it is usually invisible until one day people suddenly say, your English has improved so much. What they call sudden success is actually the result of hundreds of quite consistent days. There is another psychological secret. Don't aim for perfection, aim for completion. If your goal is to study for 2 hours every day, you will often feel overwhelmed. But if your goal is simply to spend 10 meaningful minutes with English, you will almost always succeed. And once you begin, you will often continue longer. Starting is the hardest part. Success doesn't belong to the most talented, it belongs to the person who keeps showing up. Remember this powerful truth: small actions repeated daily are stronger than big actions repeated occasionally. One page every day is better than one book once a month. One conversation every day is better than one long conversation once a year. One English habit practiced consistently can change your future. Imagine yourself 1 year from now. You understand English movies without subtitles. You speak without translating every sentence. You smile during conversations instead of feeling nervous. That future version of you isn't created by luck, it is created by the choices you make today. So don't wait until you feel ready. Don't wait for the perfect teacher. Don't wait for the perfect time. Start now. One sentence, one page, one conversation, one day at a time. Because the person who refuses to give up will always travel further than the person who waits for perfect conditions. Daily habits that make fluency almost inevitable. Imagine two people starting their English journey on the same day. Both know the same number of words, both have the same dream to speak English fluently. One person studies for 5 hours on Sunday and then doesn't touch English for the next 6 days. The other person practices for just 30 minutes every single day. After 1 year, who do you think becomes more fluent? Most people assume that learning is about how much you study, but your brain cares more about how often you study. Language is not like filling a bucket with water, it is like growing a tree. The tree doesn't become strong because you pour 100 buckets of water on it in a single day. It grows because you give it a little water every day. English works the same way. The first habit is listen before you speak. Think about a baby. Before saying the first word, the baby listens for months. The brain quietly collects sounds, patterns, and rhythms. Speaking comes later. Do the same with English. Spend time listening to stories, podcasts, interviews, and conversations. Don't worry if you don't understand everything. Your brain is learning more than you realize. The second habit is read every day. Even one page is enough. Read short stories, simple articles, or children's books. Reading shows you how real English is used. It teaches vocabulary naturally without forcing you to memorize long lists. Whenever you find a useful sentence, don't just read it aloud. Feel the rhythm of the language. The third habit is shadowing. This is one of the most powerful techniques used by language learners. Listen to a short sentence and immediately repeat it, trying to copy the speaker's pronunciation, speed, and emotion. At first, it feels difficult, but after weeks of practice, your mouth becomes more comfortable with English sounds. Your confidence grows because speaking begins to feel natural. The fourth habit is thinking in English. When you wake up, don't think, "What should I do today?" in your native language. Instead, try saying it in English. When you are shopping, name the things you see. When you are walking, describe the weather. When you are waiting for a bus, observe people and create simple English sentences in your mind. These tiny moments train your brain to stop translating. The fifth habit is keep a small English journal. Every evening, write 3 or 4 simple sentences. What did you do today? What made you happy? What did you learn? Don't worry about mistakes. Your notebook is not there to judge you, it is there to show you how much you have grown. Months later, you will read your old entries and realize something amazing. The sentences that once felt difficult now feel easy. That is progress. The sixth habit is review instead of constantly collecting. Many learners know thousands of words but remember only a few hundred because they never review them. Learning a word once is not enough. Meet it again, use it in a sentence, hear it in a story, write it in your journal. Every repetition makes the word stronger in your memory. Finally, protect your English habit. Some days you will feel tired, some days you will be busy, some days you won't feel like studying. On those days, don't quit. Simply reduce the size of your habit. If you can't study for 30 minutes, study for 5. If you can't read a page, read a paragraph. If you can't watch a long video, listen to 1 minute of English. Never allow one missed day to become a missed week. Remember this, people don't fail because they have bad days, they fail because they stop after a bad day. The secret is not being perfect, the secret is always coming back. One day you will notice that you are no longer forcing yourself to practice. You will reach for an English book without thinking. You will enjoy listening to English while traveling. You will smile when you understand a movie without subtitles. That is the moment you will realize something incredible. You are no longer chasing English. English has become part of your life. And when that happens, fluency is no longer a distant dream, it becomes your inevitable future. The story that could change your life. There was a young man named Arun. He lived in a small town where almost everyone spoke only their native language. He wasn't rich, he didn't attend an expensive English academy. In fact, he was afraid to speak English because he thought people would laugh at him. Whenever he heard someone speaking fluent English, he felt two emotions at the same time, admiration and doubt. He admired their confidence, but he doubted himself. He often said, maybe English is only for intelligent people, maybe I am too late. One evening, while returning home from work, he saw a little boy riding a bicycle. The boy fell to the ground. For a moment, Arun thought the child would give up. But something unexpected happened. The boy stood up, smiled, picked up the bicycle, and tried again. He fell again. He got up again, and again. Finally, After many attempts, the boy rode the bicycle without falling. Arun stood there silently. Then a thought crossed his mind. If nobody expects a child to ride perfectly on the first day, why do I expect myself to speak perfect English on the first day? That single thought changed everything. The next morning, Arun made a promise not to become fluent in a month, not to memorize thousands of words, but simply to spend time with English every single day. He listened to short English stories while traveling to work. He changed his phone language to English. He started talking to himself. This is my breakfast. I am going to work. It is a beautiful morning. These sentences were simple. Sometimes they were wrong, but he kept going. People around him didn't notice anything, yet something extraordinary was happening inside his brain. Every day, English became a little less strange, a little more familiar, a little more comfortable. Weeks turned into months. One day, a tourist stopped Arun and asked for directions in English. A year earlier, he would have frozen with fear, but this time he smiled. His English wasn't perfect. He searched for a few words. He made a couple of mistakes. Still, the tourist understood him, thanked him, and walked away. For the first time, Arun realized that communication is more important than perfection. That conversation lasted less than 2 minutes, but it erased years of self doubt. From that day on, Arun stopped chasing perfection, he chased progress. Years later, people began asking him, which English course did you join? Who was your teacher? What is your secret? Arun smiled and gave the simplest answer. I didn't become fluent because I studied harder than everyone else. I became fluent because I stopped treating English like an exam. I made it part of my everyday life. That was his secret. Not talent, not expensive coaching, not magic, just thousands of small moments. A story before bed, a podcast while walking, a few English thoughts every morning, a short conversation with himself every evening. Those tiny habits slowly built a new future. Now think about your own life 1 year from today. Where will you be if you keep making excuses? Probably in the same place. But where could you be if you spent just a little time with English every single day? You could understand movies, travel with confidence, speak to people from different countries, find better opportunities, teach others, inspire your children, and most importantly, you could become the person you once believed you could never become. The difference between those two futures is not luck, it is the decision you make today. So don't wait for tomorrow. Start with one sentence, one paragraph, one conversation, one small habit. Because every great journey begins with a single step, and every fluent English speaker was once someone who simply refused to give up. The person you become. Take a moment and imagine that it is 1 year from today. You wake up in the morning, pick up your phone, and watch an English video without feeling nervous. You listen to every sentence carefully, and for the first time, you realize that you understand almost everything. Later, someone speaks to you in English. A year ago, your heart would have raced. You would have searched for every word, translated every sentence, and worried about making mistakes. But today, you smile, you answer naturally, not because your English is perfect, but because your fear has disappeared. That is what fluency truly looks like. Fluency is not speaking like a native speaker. Fluency is expressing your thoughts with confidence even when you don't know every word. Many people believe that learning English will only improve their language. They are wrong. English changes much more than your vocabulary. It changes the books you can read, the people you can meet, the jobs you can apply for, the ideas you can understand, the places you can travel, the confidence with which you walk into a room. In other words, learning English does not just change your language, it changes your life. But remember one important truth, English is not your destination, it is your bridge. A bridge to knowledge, a bridge to opportunities, a bridge to friendships, a bridge to dreams that once seemed impossible. Every sentence you learn is another step across that bridge. Some days you will walk quickly, some days you will walk slowly. What matters is that you never stop walking. There will still be difficult days. There will be days when you forget words, days when you don't understand a video, days when you wonder if you are improving at all. On those days, remember this: a bamboo tree spends years growing its roots underground before it suddenly grows tall. People think the growth happened overnight, but they never saw the years of invisible work. Your English journey is exactly the same. Every page you read, every podcast you hear, every mistake you make, every sentence you speak, they are all building roots. One day people will say your English improved so quickly, but you will know the truth. It was not quick, it was the result of hundreds of quiet days when you chose not to quit. So, from today, stop asking when will I become fluent. Instead, ask did I spend time with English today? If the answer is yes, you are already moving toward your dream. Never underestimate the power of one day. One day becomes 1 week, 1 week becomes 1 month, 1 month becomes 1 year, and 1 year can completely change your life. So, make a promise to yourself today. Don't learn English only when you feel motivated. Don't learn English only before an exam. Don't learn English only because someone told you to. Learn English because it is becoming part of who you are. Let it become your daily companion, your daily habit, your daily adventure. One day you won't say, I am learning English. You will proudly say, English is part of my life. And that is the day you stop chasing fluency because fluency begins chasing you. Imagine two doors standing in front of you. Behind the first door is the version of you who keeps making excuses, waiting for the perfect time to start. Behind the second door is the version of you who practices English every single day, even for just a few minutes. Both doors lead to your future. Which door are you walking through today? If this audiobook inspired you, subscribe to Echo English. Together, we will build not only your English fluency but also your confidence, wisdom, and a better future. One day, one story, and one conversation at a time.